How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Therapist Talks, where again, I'm your host, Jacob Minnig, licensed mental health addiction professional from the state of Minnesota. Down for another reaction video. But before that, please shoot my YouTube channel a like, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate all the support y'all give me. It means a lot. As a licensed therapist, I do not diagnose in this video, or I don't give therapeutic advice, but just good old fashioned good content. And again, I'm up for another legal/law reaction video. But again, this is more of an origin story of, again, someone I greatly respect here in Minnesota. So Bruce Rivers is a Minneapolis criminal defense attorney. And again, me being an aspiring lawyer, or maybe hopefully a defense attorney one day, I greatly respect Bruce. And I did an episode probably a few days ago on one of his reaction videos, which he does phenomenal videos. So please, everyone, check out his YouTube channel. He does phenomenal, great work. And yeah, I feel like this would be a great episode because it's titled, again, Becoming a Lawyer and Why He Did It. And he gets through like his, background, what really motivated him to be an attorney in the first place, how he got into school. And I find it very entertaining. Again, I've been following Bruce for many years now on his YouTube channel. I find him to be educational, entertaining. And yeah, I came across this video maybe like 6 to 8 months ago and whatnot. And yeah, it's really good. So I figure we give it a good check out. And again, if Bruce is watching, which he probably isn't, but I hope he is, I'm studying for the LSATs right now. I got this book, and I'm studying a couple other ways too, different materials and whatnot. But again, thank you everyone for your support, and let's get started.
So about my story. We're not doing a reaction to any videos in this
I'm doing a
particular episode.
reaction.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've had a lot of requests in the comments to kind of share how I became a lawyer and what my story is. And so I want to respond to those comments. First, my story as a lawyer, I came into this profession a little differently than most people. A lot of people, they don't know what they want to do. They don't want to be a doctor. They just kind of go into law school, and it's kind of a natural progression. And that wasn't my story. First of all, I wasn't that great of a student in high school. I was very much a BC student. I slept basically my whole high school career, basically. But I wound up going to Augsburg College, and while I was in college, I drove an ambulance. I worked for my father, and one day, while I'm dispatching the other ambulances, all of a sudden the cops came in, and they executed a search warrant by the Attorney General's office. And that was a really scary thing. And watching my father, who was a 6'2", big burly fireman who had a business on the side, an ambulance company, be completely subservient to these cops was really something. They took all of his business records, and he wound up going to prison for 18 months for fraud, for Medicare and Medicaid fraud. His lawyer at the time was an absolute piece of human garbage. They saw how much money he had, and they just took it, basically. And they had one of the lawyers that he had with him had never even tried a criminal case. They were totally unqualified. And I know the lawyer that tried his case, and he is awful, just awful. And so through that experience, I saw how horribly my father was treated. The day before he was supposed to turn himself in to prison after a jury trial, he attempted to take his life with a .38 revolver. When he went up to, we had a dinner, he went up to his room, we followed him up there. I wrestled the gun out of his hand while my brother and my brother-in-law tackled him. It was a really ugly scene. And he almost did it, but he did not do it, thankfully. It was based on that experience, watching how my father was treated by the system, and on watching how my father was treated by his own fucking lawyers. That changed what I wanted to do. I was going to get my MBA after I got done with my business degree.
So little pause there. Again, very emotional, passionate, like stuff right there. And yeah, just a little bit about my story. So again, I was not a good student. Bruce is actually a better student than I was. I barely graduated high school. I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA, and people think like that's crazy. That can happen. No, it can happen, and I did it. Not proud of it. Again, I had a learning disability, ADHD, but again, that's probably for another story. And but like what you mentioned with college too, like I didn't have the best undergraduate experience. I think I graduated with a 2.4 GPA. And I think Bruce said he had a 2.6 or whatnot. So a little better than me and everything. But again, I feel like any career starts with a fire, a huge passion. And as he's getting into his traumatic experience, watching his father being taken advantage of by the officers or like the horrible attorney representing him, I can just imagine the fire of passion he had within himself to stand for injustice. And that's something like me and him have a lot in common because I've gone through things in my life just like many other people with extreme injustice, not being treated fairly, regardless of like who you are as a person or religion, skin. Like there's so many ways that us as human beings can experience injustice, and that pisses me off more than anything in the world, and it creates a fire and a passion. And again, he's kind of getting into how the injustice of the bad reputation, legal reputation from his father, who the attorney obviously never tried a defense case. He took advantage of his father. Oh man. And again, he's going to get a little bit more into that, but I feel like, going on any major adventure in life or career change, you're going to need that internal fire of passion to succeed in grad school and to be a good whatever you want to be, which Bruce, it looks like, used that to get through law school and being a phenomenal criminal defense attorney. And that's why I look up to him. That's why I greatly respect him. And a lot of things that he does is just amazing. And yeah, he's awesome.
And run his company. But instead, I decided to become a criminal defense lawyer. I started doing some work for his appellate lawyer, who got some things reversed on appeal. But by then it was a little late. It's like putting toothpaste back in the tube.
Mm-hmm.
And I put myself through law school. I really can't tell you how rewarding it is to be a criminal defense lawyer. So when I was going through my undergrad, my father was in prison, and I didn't get the best grades, and I didn't have that much direction, and I didn't have that much support, because like in some of the other videos I've talked about, the lack of having a father around really has an impact on a young man.
Yep.
And so I wound up graduating with a 2.74 GPA, which is like between a C and a C plus and B minus.
That was 2.6
basically. And I tried to get into law school, and I didn't get in my first time. I didn't get in my second time, but I did get in my third time. And I took there's a law school admission test. I took that, and I think what has been the hallmark of my success hasn't been that I'm just have this superior intellect. It's because I have a drive. I have a perseverance that I just keep at it. And I knew what I wanted, and I went after it, and I got it. So I went.
I love that he said that. I've had similar experiences too. Like, again, like I'm not like a very intelligent guy and whatnot, but that's one thing people have always said about me is my grit and perseverance and not giving up, especially if it's something you want to do. I've had a couple experiences in my life regarding that. It didn't necessarily lead to success, but I took a lot of positives from it. And it's kind of embarrassing to say, but like I tried to be an EMT. So I took the EMT basic course 3 times at Everett Hills, and I didn't pass just because they have an educational system or whatnot on if you don't pass the final exam, you get a D for the whole class. It doesn't matter how well you did on the previous exams, and then it prevents you from taking the national exam. So then I took the MT basic course at Century College, passed right away, and eventually, I passed the skills test right away, but I eventually couldn't pass the written exam. But that's, again, I don't want to veer off too much from this, but again, I can actually relate to the perseverance. Even though like I didn't actually succeed in what I tried to do, you still take some positives from it and the grit, determination. and you just learn to do something else. But again, that's such an amazing, cool story for Bruce, how he's just not giving up. And he's like, I'm going to do this. And I don't know how hard it takes. And again, those characteristics, I'm sure, made him a phenomenal attorney, especially how he fights for his clients in the courtroom. Like their life depends on it, because it does in a lot of cases. It's truly amazing. And that's a phenomenal story. So I'll keep going with this.
To law school, and I loved law school. And my father was out of prison by then, and I was able to get good grades in law school
Nice.
and started my own law firm right out of law school. My very first trial was a blind stalker, if you can believe that. And it was, and when I sit there and I have a defendant next to me or client,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 minute that client is looking at 25 years plus in prison, and the next he walks free because of the work that I did, there is no greater reward for me than that. I started my own law firm right out of law school. I love what I do, but I didn't start my own law firm and practice on my own right away without help from somebody else. And I try to look for help from other people, no matter where I am or what I'm doing. I'm not so proud that I know everything, because you can learn from anybody. I have a mentor to this day, and he's a phenomenal lawyer, a phenomenal husband, a phenomenal father figure. And it's somebody that I look up to that helped guide me in how I've kind of conducted myself over the last 25 years. I don't take an attitude with opponents. I don't swear at opponents.
Mm-hmm.
I live to fight another day. I'm prepared when I go to trial, and I really love what I do, and I don't ever miss the notion that the person that I'm sitting next to, the client that I'm sitting next to, isn't just a number. It isn't just another case. It's a human being.
It's a human being. It's a soul. It's, a lot of these different things where, again, like you mentioned, like they could be doing 25 years in prison, life in prison. And it's like a lot of it's like depending on the work as you do it as an attorney. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I want to be one. But I can just strongly relate to like everything that's going on with them emotionally, with himself and like his client. And I can imagine like what a feeling it is, or like how much of a reward, like an emotional reward you get from like saving someone's life, and not even their life, their family's life, keeping them out of prison because of the work, the amazing work that you do. That's what like drew me into being an attorney, is that, again, me as a mental health professional, like, I try to help people from a mental health point of view, but I can only imagine that, again, as an attorney, like you need a lot of those like therapist slash counselor like traits to, again, build that rapport and relationship with your client, especially what they're going through in their lives, depending on the case, of course. But you're working with them, and you get into these intense situations, and you're, again, helping them out in their legal issues, preventing prison time, jail time, or whatnot. But then you're also helping them out in a mental health sort of way too. So you're getting the legal aspect that you're helping them out, but I also feel you help them out in a mental health sort of way too. You get the best of both worlds, and that's what really attracts me to the law field and becoming an attorney, helping my clients out more in a more type of way, an additional type of way or something. But again, I think a lot of what Bruce is saying is very passionate, amazing. And again, I would love to have him as a mentor, but again, I'm not there yet. I'd focus on getting into law school first. But again, I would be honored if Bruce would ever be my mentor. I mentor underneath him. But again, I hope he watches my videos. He's probably too big and famous. But again, Bruce, if you're out there, my man, love to learn from you. I really would.
And the person sitting next to me needs to be cared for. And what I do throughout the case, throughout every case I have, directly impacts that person. You've seen in the movies, I'm sure, where somebody falls asleep at trial, or, they just go through the motions. There's too many people out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. I love what I do. I love being somebody's answer to a problem. So my advice to each and every one of you is go after your dreams, whatever those dreams are. If it's criminal defense, go after it. Make your life your life. Don't let your life happen to you. You make your life happen. You know, you don't get everything overnight. I certainly didn't get my practice and all the trappings that come with it. Have I done well financially? Of course I have. But you know what? I've been able to put my son through school. I've been able to do a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to do had I taken the first no for an answer. And the first no came in the form of bad grades when I was in my undergrad. And the first no came in a rejection from a law school for the first time. But did I pass the bar the first time? You damn right I did. And you know why? Because I went after it. So my point in telling you all this is to give you some kind of insight as to where my heart is. And the whole reason behind the reaction channel, sure, is it visibility, a little bit of marketing? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But it's also to impart a message. And that message is think about your life. Think about where you want to go. You are in charge of what foot you put out the door and where you put it. So the idea that you can be whatever you want to be, it sounds like such a hokey dream, but it's fucking true. You make what you want out of your life. And I did. I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets in the path that I took. It was a hard path. Sure, would I've done better if I had better grades? Yeah. Would I have done better if I had a father that didn't go to prison? Sure. But those setbacks create a fabric of toughness, of perseverance, of I wouldn't be the same person without it. And I think I have a gratitude for what I've achieved and for what has been in my wheelhouse in my life as a result. So I'm very grateful to have everything that I have, to have the family that I have, to have the career that I have, and to be able to be in a position to affect change in people and people's lives. You know, when I was in my undergrad and I drove an ambulance, I loved that job because I would help people. And there was a time while I was trying to get into law school where I had a business job where I was a sales guy. I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. You know why did I hate it? It wasn't because it was a bad job or it wasn't good work or anything, but it just wasn't helping people. And that's what I love about being a criminal defense lawyer. 1 minute you're sitting there, you've worked your ass off on this case. You've made your closing argument to the jury. You've questioned all the witnesses. And you're sitting there with your client and you're waiting for that verdict. Your palms are sweaty.